your smiling faces. Today is the 5th Sunday in Lent, and Lent is more than just a time to prepare for Easter. It's an invitation for us, each of us, to raise our consciousness, remember who we truly are, and to continuously choose love. And what better way for us to honor Lent season and Easter and Jesus the Christ and the teachings of Jesus the Christ than to awaken to who we truly are and live from that and continuously choose love, right? Yes, I love it. Unity's theme for this Lent season, they do a booklet every year for Lent, and this theme is release and reimagine. Release what's no longer for your highest good, release what's not in alignment with truth with a capital T, and reimagine, like Judee in her meditation talked about releasing belief in separation, and reimagining, actually remembering, in this case, who we truly are, one with God. I am God, God is me, you are God, God is you. We're all one, in unity. In unity. But we're right in the middle of a major transformation in our planet, as we all know. I always say this in some form or another, moving from third-dimensional ways of being, letting that fall away into the higher vibrations of the 5th dimension. But we're in a gap period of uncertainty right now. A gap period of uncertainty where we witness so much that has been familiar and comfortable to us falling apart or just falling away, right? Yet we don't see yet all that's happening in the invisible, all that's happening behind the scenes to replace what's falling away with something better, something higher vibration, something good. We see many doors close before new doors are ready to open. So we're living in the mystery whether we like it or not. I am so grateful to Kelly Powers, who's now in non-physical, for teaching me to love living in the mystery, not just to live in the mystery, but to love it. And what if we go back to the unity core affirmation, which is the first spiritual principle? There's only one presence, say it with me, there is only one presence and one power in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Yes. And when we know that, we know God is behind the mystery. We know God is the mystery. We know God is everywhere present. So we can be comfortable living in that. Takes faith, takes trust, and that's a choice. And all the good will be revealed to us all in good time. All in good time. So keep your eyes and ears open. Look around you. And each of our lives is shaped by the stories we tell. Our lives are shaped by the stories we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves, meaning we're the author. So guess what? We can rewrite the story anytime. We've got that choice and that power to use our imagination to rewrite a better story. Some of the stories we're telling ourselves now empower us. Some quietly limit us. Others worry us or actually scare us. So those are the ones we want to change, right? And when we release, this morning we're going to explore how our spiritual power of wisdom, of imagination, shapes our reality for better or for worse, either way. And when we release our outdated narratives and consciously reimagine new possibilities for our good through the lens of divine love, we're starting a new chapter written not on fear and doubt, but on love and faith. And we're almost always imagining something, right? The question is, are we imagining stories, based on fears, or on our faith in possibilities for a higher good. And there's several ways we misuse our imagination. One is to replaying negative experiences from the past. Two is remembering old wounds and hurts, not wanting to let go of those for some silly reason. Three is predicting limitation and failure. Four is catastrophizing. And five is creating worst-case scenarios. And misuse of our imagination can trap us in fear-based thinking. And imagination can also be one of our greatest gifts and allies. Again, we get to choose. We get to choose. We can use our imagination to step into our role as co-creators with the divine. And I've got several techniques and affirmations that I use to support me in more successfully navigating this gap of uncertainty. And if they work for me, I know they can work for you. And I'm going to share a few of them with you this morning. And the first one is the umbrella. I call it the umbrella affirmation because it's over all of our other affirmations. And that, again, is what I just mentioned, our unity affirmation. And let's say it together one more time. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. If we just live by that, we've got it made. And like I said, it takes a lot of faith, trust, and courage to fill in the gaps there. The second one is one that Jesus taught. Don't judge by appearances, right? Don't judge by appearance. Our spiritual power of wisdom gives us the power to discern the truth behind the appearances. So that's how we can use our power of wisdom. And the third is this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And this reminds me of the impermanence of life. And Buddhist teachings state that all conditioned things, and I had to look that up, I didn't understand what conditioned things were, and that's things that depend on other things to exist. So all conditioned things, including physical bodies, thoughts, and emotions, are in a constant state of flux and change. Life is seen as a flowing process rather than a static state. And this teaching emphasizes that suffering arises from hanging on to, clinging to, being attached to things that cannot remain. Suffering. In a way, Buddhism says, don't cling to what is passing, and then unity would add, release it. Release it, and imagine what you want to grow next. Fourth, focus your attention on what you want, not on what you don't want. Because energy flows where attention goes. Your attention's like a spotlight that gives energy to and empowers whatever you focus it on, be it negative or positive. And I want to remind you how I use negative and positive in my talks. Negative meaning what you don't want. Positive meaning what you do want. And that can change for you over time, and it can be different among people. It's what you want or what you don't want. And consciously releasing your focus from doubts and worries and instead focusing on what you'd want to experience changes your emotional state, your behaviors, and thus the results you get. And I want to share an example of something that happened for me quite a few years ago, but it was such a big thing. I wanted to share it, and it's related to focusing your attention on what you want. I had recently left my job at the Department of Education, 7 years short of being able to draw my full retirement. My spirit made me do it. I later reframed that to I graduated from my job. And it was taking me a while to come close to the income I was making from the state, but I was so grateful to my spirit for kicking me out, give me a little kick in the seat of the pants to graduate myself from that job. And then one day a close friend told me she was going to a retreat in Hawaii, led by a spiritual teacher that we both loved. And I was happy for her, and yay, I'm glad you're going. And yet, I didn't see that I had the money to go, and so I didn't put any more attention onto it, even though I wanted to go. I just blocked my attention from it. I didn't want to be disappointed, silly humans. But it took me probably at least a week, maybe more, to wake up to the fact that I had put a tight lid on my desire because I doubted my ability to come up with the money for the airline ticket, for the hotel accommodations, for the food, and for the retreat itself. I doubted that. So I decided to focus my attention on what I wanted. I envisioned myself at the retreat with my friend, meeting other wonderful people, enjoying myself. And I made a vision board, and then I decided, okay, I'm going to let go and let God now handle the details. And God, if there's anything I need to know, any action I need to take, please inspire me to that. Well, without taking any extra action except envisioning what I wanted, as if I had it already, with a feeling of gratitude and excitement, here's what happened. I had recently filed my income tax return, and I got the check. I was going to get I think it was a little over $200 refund. And I got the check, and it was $500 more than the amount I thought I was going to get. And the little letter with it said that I had made miscalculations. Well, I had a CPA do it. So what are the chances that a CPA would make an error that would give you $500 more, right? Grace of God. And then the Department of Education invited me to come back under a contract for a short period of time to facilitate a program that I was able to get into the Department of Education when I was still there. It was a program that explained the psychology behind affirmations and visualization and manifestation. And yeah, I love doing that. So they brought me back to do that under contract for a short period of time. So that contract money with the income tax refund money was more than enough to get me to Hawaii and the retreat. So see, all I did was, one, become aware and let go of my doubt, took the lid off of my desire, and focused on what I wanted with feelings of excitement and gratitude. So that's the things that can happen, which appear like miracles, right? And these are only some of the beliefs and techniques I use, but that's all I had time to share with you this morning. But you can use these to support you in shifting your focus when you notice yourself telling yourself a story that scares you or worries you or limits you in any way. Say, oh yeah, remember that story Judee told me. Let me change the focus of my attention. But begin by looking at your negative stories. Look at your negative stories and ask yourself, what do I want to experience instead of this? What do I want to do instead of this, have instead of this, be instead of this, or see instead of this, right? And you can do that. Use your wonderful imagination. And tell those negative stories. Say, thank you for being here when I might have needed you, and I release you now. And then give no more attention to them. No more energy, no more empowerment, no more attention. Then you put it on your positive new story that you just created with your wonderful power of imagination. You can write down your new story. You can speak it aloud. You can record it and listen to it often. If you're inspired to do a vision board, do that. All kinds of little techniques you can play with. And use your imagination to feel how you know you would feel if whatever it was you wanted is now happening. And you can do that. Bring that feeling right back into your body. Abraham Hicks taught me years ago how to play the positive what-if game. And then I'm a member of Mindy Odland's Facebook group called What If Upping. And on there we practice positive what-if upping. And you can ask me more about that later if you want to. So instead of saying something like, what if it all goes wrong? You release that and say something like, what if it all goes right? You get the idea, right? You take your negative what-ifs when they come up and, oh, what do I want instead? And then your positive what-if. And those are the ones that you use. And then I have one more story to tell you about when I played the positive what-if game. This was a number of years ago also. It was a time, the reason I decided to play the game, it was a time when I was putting way too much attention on lacking the money I believed I wanted and needed. So I decided to shift my attention into positive possibilities for attracting more money. And they don't have to make sense. They don't even have to sound plausible, because in this game, you let your imagination run wild and you have fun with it. You have as much fun with it as you can. So here's some of the positive what-ifs I came up with in playing that game. What if a relative I didn't even know dies and leaves me a great sum of money? I put in there that I didn't even know I had, because I didn't want to feel sad if one of my relatives died that I loved. And I didn't want to think I had been a cause of it, so I put that I didn't even know. And then the next one I had, what if I give such good service that people insist on paying me more, and do? And that happens for me a lot, so I guess that's my clue to maybe ask for my money, I don't know. But that happens a lot, and I always am so grateful. What if a plane with criminals in it flew over me when I was taking a hike out in the woods and threw out a big suitcase full of money, and it landed right in front of me in the path? Because they didn't want to get caught with it when they landed. And so I, instead of setting that in my backyard, which I did at one time, I said, oh no, because then they might be able to find me when they're coming back to look for the money, because so I'll be out in the woods with trees sheltering me, and they don't even know that I have it, So. And then, what if I win big in the lottery? That's a pretty common positive what if, isn't it? I guess the most I've ever won was $5,000, but that was pretty big to me. Yeah. And unlike my friend Candy Parker, who used to be the bookstore manager here years ago, who won $1 million on a scratch-off ticket. Yeah. And then, what if I go for a walk in the woods and I stumble over something and look down and dig it up, and it's a chest full of valuable old coins? What if? So I'll stop there, and can you see how I was wanting to have fun with coming up with some outlandish or outrageous possibilities? And that, we've all laughed when we talked about them. That just uplifts us. Well, guess what I read in the newspaper not too far after that? And here's a summary of the story. In 2013, a couple living in Northern California were walking their dog on their rural property on a path that they'd been on many times before. When they stumbled over the edge of a rusty metal can, and when they got a stick to dig it up, they found it contained gold coins. It was full of gold coins. They went back to get a shovel and dug further, eventually finding 8 cans containing 1,427 gold coins dating from 1847 to 1894. The coins had a face value of about $27,980, but collectors valued them at around $10 million. Experts still don't know who buried the coins. Theories range from a cautious gold rush era saver to a hidden loot from robberies. And you can Google that and find that story. So that told me that my last what if was not that outlandish after all, right? I just had to laugh when I saw it. I've saved it somewhere. I need to find that. But now I want to tell you that this hasn't happened to me yet. So what does that tell you when I add yet? Yeah, I'm still open to it, aren't I? I still believe it's a possibility. I'll come back and speak again when I trip over something in the woods. But I took that as Spirit's message to me to keep letting my wonderful imagination run wild, because anything is possible. Yeah. And our imagination is given to us by God. It is God. And so with God, all things are possible. So I can't wait to see what you all are going to come up with for positive what ifs. And when I imagine my new positive stories, I like to add on the end, thank you, God, for this or something even better than I can now imagine. Because then I take all the limits off and open up to the grace of God. Now I want to talk about resistance. Resistance is a wonderful thing to release. Wonderful thing to release. I would say not work on it. I would say focus on that first. To release resistance, because resistance comes from fear. It's our mind trying to control life instead of trusting the flow of life. Our minds really want to protect us, so bless you, mind. Thank you for sharing that, and I know that's not the truth. But whenever we resist what is happening, we tighten up, we struggle in life, and we suffer. So what a good thing to release. And when we release resistance, positive things always happen, what some might even call miracles. We relax, we open up, we begin to see possibilities that we couldn't see before. Not that we didn't see, but that we couldn't see before in the frame of mind we're in. And that is when imagination, again, becomes our ally and our friend. It's not just about dreaming. It's about seeing beyond appearances. It's about seeing the invisible, seeing a possibility before it materializes. Every invention, every breakthrough, every healing, every movement for good began with someone imagining something that did not yet exist in their experience, or may not have existed in anyone's experience. Or by asking God for something even better than you can now imagine. Again, the grace of God. I've had so much fun with that since I learned to do that at the end of all my requests. So the question is not whether or not you are imagining, because you're always imagining. Always. Negative or positive. The question is, what story are you imagining now in your life? And it's not just a single one. We've got lots of stories, don't we, about different things in our lives. Are your stories shaped by doubt and fear, or by faith and love? Because the moment you release an old story that's no longer for your good, you make space for the new story to come in. And that is what Lent invites us to do. Release and reimagine. Release the old, release what no longer works, what's no longer for your good, and reimagine what you want to experience instead. And have fun with it. And I forgot one thing. Something told me that I forgot one of my little techniques to tell you. Actually, I forgot two. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, I'm going to insert them here because I see I've got plenty of time. The fifth one was only those who see the invisible can do the impossible. I didn't say that one, did I? Yeah. Now, I saw this on a high school bulletin board back before I made the decision to leave the Department of Education, and we had gone to Central Florida to do an audit of the district, and I saw that on a bulletin board. Only those who see the invisible can do the impossible. And when we use our imagination, we see the invisible with our mind's eye and bring it into reality through focusing on it, feeling it, trusting it. And then the other one I forgot to share with you is also from Jesus' teachings. With God, all things are possible. In unity, we know that we have God energy inside us, right in us, all the time. We're born with it. And we know that God is inside everyone and everywhere present. So I use this statement also to remind me to call upon God within me, or to call upon God in my family members or in loved ones or anywhere to help me and help them manifest and imagine the possible. And I use this especially when I think something is impossible. And there was one thing I did once in my life because I thought it was impossible. And that was to walk on hot coals with my bare feet. I thought it was impossible to do without burning. And yet one day I read a story in the Tallahassee Democrat that said a group of people have gone up to Georgia and did that successfully. And the only person I could remember was Mary Beth C. And I talked to her about it this morning. I said, is my memory right? And she said, yes. She was thinking that was before she started in Unity. And it may have been because I already knew her because she was my daughter's pediatrician. Such a wonderful pediatrician. My daughter loved her, and so did I. But that's why I wanted to do the fire walk, because it seemed, in my belief system, impossible. And yet I did it many times without burning my feet, and I became a firewalk tender for a firewalk instructor for a while and did many firewalks. And that was quite an adventure. But anyway, back to remembering that Lent invites us to release and reimagine. So this week and beyond, I ask you to release any stories and beliefs that scare you or limit you or worry you, and imagine the life that love is waiting to live through you. The life that love is waiting to live through you. And the next time your mind starts imagining all the things that could go wrong, what if I forget this? What if I don't know how? What if? Just pause and give yourself a little smile and ask instead, what if it all goes right? And so it is.
Light of God.